It's October 12th, 2020. It's been pretty rainy here in Seattle, but today, as you can see, it's very sunny. Let's start the update with the pine tree. Haven't looked at it for a while, but yeah, it looks pretty much the same. The succulents are doing great. That little guy over here, you can see it's doing well too. And the other succulents are getting very big. The string of pearls, as you can see, it's sending out all the new growths. Here are the other succulents. Here's the lavender. You can see all the new growths. So yeah, pruning is so important for lavender. Also, here's some new flowers. It's still flowering, as you can see. Here's the rosemary. I think this rosemary plant is actively growing now. If you look closely, you can see those new leaves. And at the same time, it's also sending out a bunch of flowers. Here you can see some flower buds that's forming. Right here, if the camera can focus. Right here, you can see some new flowers forming and a lot of flowers all over the plants. Here's a bunch more flowers. Here's the hydrangea and peony. The catnip is actively growing. You can see all these new growth over here. These are fresh leaves. And these are some tiny flowers. Here's the raspberry. You can see the plant is dying back now, leaves turning yellow. And over here we have a raspberry. Pretty surprising it's still fruiting, but this one looks great. I'm gonna harvest it. But yeah, you can see there's still a few more fruits forming. So we're probably gonna be able to harvest a few more before the season ends. Also, here's you can see a bunch of the dried up raspberry flowers slash fruits. These are either not pollinated well, or I just didn't really look at them. Here's the green onion. You can see a lot of new leaves. They can be harvested anytime. Here's another rosemary. I think it's also actively growing. And the grape hyacinth is definitely growing. I've just been procrastinating on taking it out. Also, I decided to check the saffron. And as you can see, they have started to sprout. It's time to take them out and start having them grow. Here's a closer look. You can see all those little sprouts forming. Those are probably leaf sprouts. Hopefully I can get some flowers though. Here's the mulberry. It looks pretty much the same. And here we have the lily of the valley. You can see it's pretty much done dying back. Still a few ones that are green, but it's pretty much going to go away soon. The blueberry is dropping leaves now. All the red leaves are looking pretty nice. I like the color. The calla lily looks about the same. And the strawberry looks also about the same, with some dead leaves and dead runners. And over here we have the rosemary that I transplanted. Doesn't look too healthy. You can see the leaves are a little desiccated. Here's the dahlia. I rotated it so I can enjoy the flowers. Here you can see this flower has opened. It looks very nice. Here's another flower that is opening at the moment. I'm gonna harvest these two for indoor. And here's just another look of the flowers. Over here's the pot of mixed plants. Let's take a closer look at the tomatoes. Those little flower buds that I showed you last week are still pretty tiny, so I'm not sure if they're actually gonna turn into flowers. Probably not gonna get any tomato fruits this year because it's a little late. Here's the ginger. You can see the new leaves are still growing, but this new leaf over here is a little damaged. Not too sure if it's by insects or something else. Here's the hydrangea. Just gonna look at them quickly. There's not too much to talk about. Here's the shooting star hydrangea. Seems like the new growth is a little more full than the other ones. And these are the two other tiny new growths. The growth is definitely slowing down. Here's the flowers. Yeah, don't think it's really gonna open up much more. Over here's the asparagus, and yeah, you can see all the nice leaves. Here's surprisingly another sprout doing that little wiggly thing. And here's another new sprout. I'm pretty surprised that the asparagus are still sprouting. And this is the purple variety. You can see two sprouts coming out. And in the same pot, you can see this potato is also sprouting, because this pot used to be a potato pot. Weird. It's not really the season. Here's the rhubarb. Still looks full. And here you can see a new leaf forming. And I think over here's another new leaf. So yeah, it's still growing, not dying back yet. Let's look at the mint. You can see all over the plant are new growths, and these are the spent flowers. Maybe seeds. These are all the new growths. And the pineapple is looking about the same. The speed is definitely slowing down. I think I should bring it indoor pretty soon, because it's gonna become really rainy and wet, which pineapple doesn't like too much. As for the indoor garden, let's start with the orchids. All the new growths are still growing, and the flower that I've been tracking, oops, I dropped the flower. As you can see, the flower is dead. It's not gonna open, which is very sad, because I was very excited for this mini dendrobium flower. Here's the lady slip orchid. This one doesn't look like it's doing anything much. And here's the flower that we've been tracking. You can see it has finally opened. Very nice. Here's the mini oncidiums. You can see these flowers are gonna open soon. The flower buds are turning red and getting bigger. Here's some more flower spikes. A lot of branches. Probably gonna take maybe 2 to 3 more weeks. Here's some more orchids. I haven't really talked about them, but yeah, they look about the same. And this other orchid is pretty much dead. Here's the ficus tree. Don't think too much is happening. It's not really growing, and it's actively dropping leaves too, so it's definitely sensing the seasonal change. Here's the Easter cactus with all the new leaves, looking very healthy. The dragon tree plant is doing great. You can see this new leaf is super long. Also the bird nest fern that I haven't looked a while. You can see a new leaf forming. Over here's the philodendron. The pear plant is still sending out new growths. You can see right here's another new growth forming. The hoya plant is also sending out a bunch of new growths, like this one over here, and this one is getting longer. I really like the pink and white color. And there's another new growth at the end of this vine. You can see right here, it's a bit darker with green and pink colors. The spider plant is also growing, and that flower spike that I showed you last week is still flowering. And the flower spike from one of the baby spider plants is also still flowering. And this is the harvest I did today at the end of the filming session. This raspberry looks very nice. I think the bees did a good job on pollinated this flower. And I also harvested the 2 dahlia flowers. Hopefully the one on the left will open. And I also took the saffron pots out. This is the older one, and this one is I think it's a year younger, and it's sprouting.